Rock stars, Eric Andreas, your Guitar Sage here, and today I'm going to review the AMPLIFi by Line 6. This is the 150 right here. You see this in all my videos because I use this mainly for my sound system, but I also use it for other bits and pieces. A lot of times I'll use it inside of my course to demonstrate effects and that sort of thing because using the interface that you can see here on the screen is a great way to teach folks how to use effects and that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about this today and talk about the tones that it produces. You're going to hear them. You're going to hear them now without a microphone. You're going to hear them direct, which is the best way to use a modeling type of amplifier. So if you're unfamiliar with what modeling amplifiers are, an amplifier obviously is something that amplifies your sound, makes it bigger, and a modeling amplifier is one that that models classic sounds, if you will. Okay, so it's not a tube amplifier, it's a solid state amplifier, but this package here does a bunch of stuff and it's an absolute bargain. Okay, so again, it's got a full range set of speakers in it. So it's got lows, it's got mids, and it's got highs. And that's why I got it. So in the studio here, if I'm getting ready to do videos and I want to play music, I can do that. Or if I'm using a jam track to a video to show you guys how to play a particular song or whatever, I can have that in the speakers and you guys can hear it. It sounds great. Okay, but then also I can use the software that you're seeing here and come up with some great sounds. So obviously, we're not going to exhaust this thing today, but I'm just going to show you basically how intuitive it is. You don't have to know anything about amplifiers and effects in order for you to have a blast with this thing. So right now I have this connected to my my iPad Pro, and I'm just going to pull up some sounds. So right now, if I want, I can pick all sorts of different sounds here. Right now I have this set on a Bassman. And I had some reverb on there, but I'm just going to set a little bit of delay here. You can see I can go into the different effects here on the top. And so really I just have the amp and I'm going to set a little bit of a delay. In fact, I'm going to set a nice little slap back so we can get a nice little rockabilly sound. And let's go back to our amp. Of course, the classic 1958 Bassman by Fender is the kind of sound that we're going for, you know. So all right, so it's that classic kind of Setzer type sound. Okay, so we can just go pick any amp that you want. If you want Fenders, if you want, you know, let's see, you've got cleans, you've got Americans, you've got British, you got high gains. So if you got a slew of overdrives like Bogner sounds, and you've got, just the whole 9 yards here. And of course, Line 6 puts their own little names on them, but really, they've modeled all these different amps and they're pretty realistic. So I've used this stuff in the studio, and in fact I talked to Dan Huff, an amazing producer and studio guitar player, like all-time great, and I asked him how often they use these in the studio, and he said we use them often. And he didn't tell me exactly how often, but he uses them often, along with a lot of other producers as well. So, you know, folks are using these, and so don't shy away from them. I mean, I've got all the expensive gear and tube amps and everything else as well, but these are very, very convenient, especially if someone wants me to do a track very quickly. I'll pull up software instead of setting up microphones and amplifiers and everything else, because I just need to get the job done in like a half hour, as opposed to getting the perfect sound for my amp and what have you. Now, if it's production or a studio project or something, then I may use those amps and those expensive pedals and that sort of thing. But this is fantastic. You can see how quickly you can just pull up a different sound. And now this is a Fender Champ, and I have one, and that's exactly how it sounds. It's just a small sound, you know. So you pull up whatever amp that you want, and then you go into it, you double click it, and then you're tweaking away. Okay, you got all the different what have you working in real time here. This is working via Bluetooth, so I don't even have to touch the amp. If I want to add some, so let's go with that sound that I had before, the tweed, the bassman, and I've got the delay there, and if I want to add a little bit of reverb, I can do that. Too much. If I want to add, let's say I want to add some tremolo, I can do that very easily here. Right? We've got EQs, we've got compressors, we've got stomp boxes. So if you wanted to come in here and you wanted to pick a tube screamer or a rat distortion or an octave or fuzz or something like that, we could do it, or a facial fuzz. All that stuff's in there. You've got compressors built in. You even have wahs and volume pedals and EQs, and the list goes on and on and on. What's also really, really cool is that, and I don't use this very often, but if you wanted to have a sound, pull up a sound that you've created or what have you. I think I did this one just for fun. This would sound great if I had my SG here, but not going to sound the best on a Strat. But you can go to the cloud, you can pull up other folks' sounds right here, just straight up, right off the internet. Very cool stuff, right? This is your overall sound, so if you wanted to run your MP3 player through this, you could. You can also do that via Bluetooth. I do it all the time here, and you have the overall sound, and you've got your guitar, okay? The tuner, it's got a built-in tuner, which is really pro. Obviously, I don't use it, or my guitar would be in tune. And then you can tweak your settings and other bits and pieces here as well. If you have a music library, you can play it right in there, okay? And you've got your settings as well. We won't go into there. But, you know, what are my overall impressions of this thing? I love Line 6 stuff. I'm kind of a little bit of a techie nerd, so I really dig their stuff. I've had all of their pedals from the beginning of time. I've got their M5, I've got their M13, and all of their effects are pretty much the same. Their new Helix stuff is even top notch, even more than some of this other stuff. But their modeling is fantastic, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. So if you're asking me, should you go get this amplifier? The question is, I guess, what are you doing? You know, what are you playing gigs? Are you, you know, for me, I probably wouldn't tour with this. I probably wouldn't do shows with it. I haven't done shows with it, but I think it's great. It's an all-around great amp to have, say, sitting in your living room where you're playing MP3s and what have you, and you can just plug in a guitar and you don't have to have a bunch of pedals laying around, and you can literally come up with any sound that you want, pull sounds off the internet and what have you. It's a great amplifier. I'm so glad that I have it. I thought I was going to have buyer's remorse when I got it, but it's never happened with me with any of my Line 6 stuff, so I love it. All right, my friends, I kind of an unorthodox review of this thing. We didn't go into a lot of details as far as it being loud and what have you. It's 150 watts of solid state wattage, which is not super duper loud. I'd say a 5-watt tube amp would probably be the equivalent loudness, which is pretty loud. But as far as dynamically, you know, tubes are going to have that different sound. But hopefully that gives you a basic idea. I think it's a fantastic product. I wasn't paid for any of this. I actually went out and bought this thing, okay? So go get it. It's really, really cool. Hopefully you like this video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please let me know how I can help you. If you love guitar as much as I do, please let me help you. Go to YourGuitarSage.com/30 for the first 30 lessons that I teach all my students here in Nashville. That's right. Or come visit me here in Nashville. We'll take about 9 months to do those lessons. You can pay about $1,000 or go get it free right now. That's right. Your mom will be very proud if you do this. Hey, as always, be kind to one another. Spay and neuter your animals. Be kind to animals. And question the man, as always. See ya.